All right, so you've already done some problems, all right? You've done actual paper ones, so you already know how to determine the volume, but I do want you to just take a quick look at some of these problems because the reality is every time you do a problem, it's not always going to be a hands-on thing. A lot of the times you're going to get stuff that's somewhat virtual or it's flat on a piece of paper and you're not going to be able to manipulate it with your hands. So you have only a few that you need to take a look at today just so you get a little practice with what to do with the computer. So when we look at these, I have two different examples of how they could give you something, and it looks very similar to what you just used. So notice we have these on the side. So it's the same things that you just saw. Okay, it's the exact same pieces. It's a little grid along the side for us to be able to represent the cubes. And since we're finding the volume, you're finding how many cubes are in each of these shapes. Now, the reason they put these cubes on there is so you'd have the ability to count and see how many there are. So when we go across, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I also see what's the height, 1, 2, 3. So we already know our formula is volume equals length times width times height. So I would multiply my three things together. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. And I'm done with that one. Okay, very simple. It's very much just like what you just did. Just looks slightly different because it's flattened now instead of being an actual manipulable shape. Now this one over here, okay, this is often how you will see a lot of problems. Now, when they do this, they still want you to calculate the total volume of this shape, all right? But they didn't actually fill in the whole shape. And that's pretty common on volume problems. So that's another reason why I want you to see this. So we do the same basic thing. They've got the bottom filled out, so I can see clearly that's 4 wide. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 long. And then I just need to figure out what the overall height is. Now, some people will go 1, 2, 3, and then they'll get it marked wrong because they didn't realize that these 3 are sitting on top of this row right here. This is the whole section. So there's clearly one underneath them. So there's one underneath them somewhere and then 3. So there's 4 for the height as well. Then I'm just taking 8 times 4 times 4, multiplying those together and getting my end answer. And again, it doesn't matter the order you do it in. I'd probably get the little ones out of the way. 4 times 4 is, 16? And then 16 times 8, break the 16 into 10 and 6. 10 times 8 is 80. 6 times 8 is 48. Put the 80 and 48 back together, and you get 128. Okay, so a little bit of distributive property in there, or area model, or however you want to think about it, multiplication, just to get things done. All right, so you only have a couple problems to try. I just want you to get a little bit of experience with what the pictures look like. You've gotten real world manipulative experience, but you do need this as well. All right, so if you're having any trouble with these problems, please come to office hours. Let's get it worked out today so that tomorrow we can move on to the next part of volume. All right, good luck out there.